Hey nerds, Jerry here. They hit us with a long video today. God of War Ragnarok, shaping the story PS5 and PS4 game. This is 10 minutes and 14 seconds long. If you guys want to watch this without the commentary and whatnot, I'll leave it in the description box down below with the original link. God of War Ragnarok news. Any news is great news, even if it is a fucking 10-minute video. Let's watch. Let's enjoy. We're less than a month away. We're a few weeks away.
We're coming off of God of War 2018.
The GOAT.
How do you top that?
I don't know if you can.
How do you deliver something that players will love maybe just as much as God of War 2018?
I hope. I have cold chills. I hope I do.
The pressure was tremendous.
No shit. Oh, bro, if this music doesn't make you want to throw ass, nothing will.
My name is Ariel Angelotti, and
Hello,
I'm
Ariel.
the senior producer for Narrative.
Nice to meet you.
Richard Gobert.
Narrative.
I'm the story lead for God of War.
Story
Ragnarok.
lead.
I'm Jody Kupsko, and I'm the supervising dialogue designer.
I love all of
It's
you
my
all.
job to shape the story along with our writing team, our narrative director, and game director.
As a producer, it's my job to help build a team to create that content, to own the schedule in realizing that content.
I
Yes.
oversee the dialogue production throughout the entire titles. Every line of dialogue that you hear, every human vocalization and effort and grunt, our team touches.
Ooh.
So I'm a man now. Like you?
No. We are not men. We are more than that.
We are God's boy.
It's far greater.
In the story of God of War 2018, we find Kratos seemingly having turned over a new leaf in the Norse lands. He lives a quiet life, hidden in the woods with his wife Faye
Well.
and their son Atreus.
Well.
And the story starts with them mourning her death.
Yes.
And we learn that she made a final request before she passed away. She wanted them to spread her ashes from the highest peak in all the 9 realms.
Up there in old Jotunheim,
He's
baby.
scared of being a bad father, a bad influence, and as a result, it's made him an absent father. His greatest fear is that he's passed that evil that's inside of him onto his son.
You are too quick to temper. You are rash, insubordinate, and out of control. This will not stand.
Oh, little brother does got some shit brewing inside of him, though.
And abandon this path you have chosen.
Because after all, Atreus is just a trickster, you know?
It is not too late.
They befriend Freya, who is an exiled Vanir
Freya!
goddess who used to be married to Odin.
Mm-hmm.
They meet Mimir, the self-proclaimed smartest man alive,
He is.
who serves as their guide and their confidant.
Mimir literally drank from the well of knowledge for a long-ass time, and Odin got super jealous of Mimir drinking from that well of knowledge and being the so-called smartest man alive. So Odin went to try to get a little bit of that knowledge, leading to him essentially hanging himself. I think it was for 9 days, and then having to give up one of his eyes, something along those lines with Odin himself. And then, yeah. You know?
And they meet the Holdra brothers, Brock and Sindri, who are world-class weaponsmiths who end up their main source of upgrades and equipment.
Do really love Brock and Sindri.
Now, among the enemies they make are the Aesir gods.
Magni
whose
and Modi.
leader is none other than Odin, someone we never meet in God of War 2018,
Never.
but who casts a very long and dark shadow over the 9 realms.
There are consequences to killing a god.
Why? How do you know? How do you know?
Boy.
After many adventures, Kratos and Atreus end up fulfilling Mom's wishes, and over the course of that journey, they find out more about each other and about themselves, and finally find a common ground between them. They become the close family unit that Faye hoped that they would become.
I sobbed. Sobbed at the end of that game. Uh-oh.
In
Puppies.
God of War
Ragnarok footage.
We fast forward a few years, and little Atreus is now a teen, and they're
That's
back
such-
to hiding out in their home.
That is such... The horn is such a good shot. Is such a good shot and such a good... It's still... They're not even... I don't know if they will in the next 7 minutes, but they're still not saying it. They're still keeping that spoiler free, and I fucking love that.
Home in the woods in Midgard. During the course of the previous game's events, They were forced to kill Odin's grandchildren, Magni and Modi,
Oh,
the sons of
it's
Thor.
the sons of Thor.
Thor does a lot of the lion's share of Odin's dirty work, and as a consequence, he's a very violent, unstable personality. At the end of the last game, they were also forced to kill Balder, the son of Odin and Freya.
And
And that
brother
has
to
its own
Thor.
set of consequences. He was a very powerful chess piece for Odin, one that Odin is incredibly bitter about losing. Freya has vowed vengeance against them for the killing of her son. Kratos and Atreus didn't want to kill him, they were friends with Freya. But Balder tried to kill her in front of them, and Kratos had no other option in the moment but to kill him to save Freya's life.
Yep,
Even though
cycle
it meant
ends.
losing Freya's friendship.
I will parade your cold body from every corner of every realm and feed your soul to the vilest filth in hell. That is my promise.
He saved your life.
He robbed me of everything.
Robbed me of everything.
His death is also foretold to bring about Fimbulwinter,
Ragnarok.
which is a brutal 3-year winter that is then followed by Ragnarok. It's an apocalyptic
Oh, fuck,
war
bro. I'm
between
still
all
got
the
cold
Norse
chills.
gods, the giants, the dwarves, and the elves, and an army of the dead. They're all destined to fight in a battle that basically ends the world. Kratos is understandably worried about his son and what it means for him.
You get to go on this journey with how Atreus grows into a young adult and how Kratos grows into his next era in his life, and really see kind of the parent that he's striving to be, but the person he's striving to be. I find
he's just a
that
good papa.
tale so incredibly relatable.
We had started shooting plenty of content before the pandemic hit. In fact, the week before we all went work from home, we were doing a shoot. I remember being on and off that set, running back to the office and having to talk to studio leadership about what was going down and how this was going to impact us moving forward. And those were trying times.
For us, it was a very unique challenge because we had to bring in actors and we had to record them. And so we had to look at different ways of adapting our typical motion capture process and dialogue recording process so we can continue production and continue at the quality that we wanted for our players and our fans.
We had some
Watching the way that different people had to like maneuver around the pandemic when it comes to actors, even in movies and video games, and even watching that basketball documentary where the team was like about to, it felt like it was their year to win the championship, and then the pandemic hit, and then there was no games. Rough.
some actors stand in for other characters, actors who were already, who were like core to one of the scenes, might just be able to play a background character in another scene to be able to avoid a situation where too many people were on set on any given day. We
There's Thor
avoided
right there. Oh
compromising
shit! Look at that. Hold on, I just caught that. Yeah, I forgot
to be
Buddy's name,
able
but
to avoid a situation.
this is literally the scene. I'm gonna turn on closed captions and I'm gonna mute this for a second and just kind of let this play because this is the scene. I wonder if this is the big boss fight they're showing right here, because they're tugging on those things for whatever reason. But clearly we have Kratos, and here we have Thor, and my man is holding in his hand Mjolnir itself, albeit a motion capture device for Mjolnir. But that's it. Look at that shit. The amount of cold chills that just came over my body. My nipples could cut through this fucking hoodie right now. Oh my God, that's so lit. And they're just going through their, small, that shows nothing. That means nothing. That's just them two, that could be them confronting each other. That may not even be the main boss fight. But even knowing that that is Ryan Hurst, even knowing that that is Thor standing across from Kratos in any moment at any point is just going to be, fuck! If that doesn't get you hype, bro, nothing will.
Compromising the story that we were trying to tell as a result of the pandemic and these limitations that we had to deal with. There were no cinematics that we changed. We still have the same characters in them in the final game. We just had to get a bit creative with how we shot the content.
Our actor for Atreus, Sonny, is a
There's in them, and there were no cinematics that we changed.
That's interesting right here because they're face to face. I don't think Kratos is here. I think Atreus went off on his own to find Freya because he's getting choked out by some vines. And then she plucks the tip of that arrow, right? This is what essentially killed Balder.
Still have the same characters in them in the final game. We just had to get a bit creative with how we shot the content.
Our actor for Atreus, Sonny, is a teenage boy, and his voice changed dramatically throughout
Oh, no.
several years on this
My
title.
brother went through a
I
whole
don't wanna
puberty doing
fight
that shit.
anyone.
I love it.
I just want answers.
We had to go in and even out that performance so it sounds like it took place over a short period of time. That was a unique challenge on this one.
I like it though.
The prophecies say Fimbulwinter leads to Ragnarok. War is coming.
You know what? This is super interesting too, real quick, because this one, we have Mimir with both his eyeballs. It looks like the blades, both the blades of chaos and his axe, the Leviathan axe, look degraded. Meaning they don't look as powered up as it was at the end of God of War for the characters. I don't know where that starting point's going to be for the game for us. Okay. And this is interesting too because I think these are two wolves, clearly. Probably Atreus' wolves. But instead of being on the boat to go through the water, we're now on ice. And I wonder where we're at in here. If we're probably back in Midgard. Okay. All right. Oh, shit.
Leads to Ragnarok. War is coming.
Whether
Fred.
the Norse saga was going to be a trilogy or just 2 games was something we debated a lot.
Being 2 games
There
is
were obviously
wild.
pros and cons for either approach. So we waited for Cory Barlog to weigh in, and he did, and he said, let's do it in 2.
The consequence to that is, how do you wrap up the story in one game and do Ragnarok justice? How do we lead up to that and then have a
That's
big
so
moment
sick.
at the end of the game and wrap up all those loose threads? This game is bigger
This is
than
back in
what we
Midgard.
initially envisioned.
Frozen Midgard.
There's a lot of important story moments that we needed to cover. There are more characters that we follow the threads of, and ultimately it ends up feeling big and epic because there is a lot there for people to enjoy.
I am very excited for folks to see this final chapter. A lot happens. We put our characters through the ringer.
Yep.
But we also bring them closure and we provide answers to a lot of the questions the first game posed.
Just all of the new
So,
combat.
that looks like he's reaching in. Remember the last time he got caught in like a dream sequence, right? Looks like he's trying to go back into that, like
Also
he
bring them
knows.
closure and we provide answers to a lot of the questions the first game posed.
Just all of the new combat that we're doing and the new interactions. There's a lot of stuff that's happening in this title that I think people are going to have fun with.
We all have our own personal Ragnaroks to deal with. And this
That's a
story
bar.
is about how you process that, how you own it, and how you make it a part of yourself and grow from it.
I mean, we set some stuff up at the end of last.
And how you make it a part of yourself.
Yggdrasil, the 9 realms. I feel like this is Odin.
And grow from it.
Huh.
I mean, we set some stuff up at the end of last game. There's going to be some consequences this game. We're going to see how things play out between Freya and Kratos. We're going to see how the evolution of the family relationship continues. You got Brock and Sindri, the dwarves.
We love 'em.
Who are kind of part of your makeshift family now. And there's going to be some other characters that we introduce that maybe going to disrupt the balance a little bit. I can't wait until players get their hands on the game or are able to experience how the story unfolds for themselves.
We have, I think, an incredibly well-rounded game. Very satisfying combat.
Ooh, that guy looks sick.
Beautiful and rich environments to explore.
That's Tyr talking to
Outstanding
Atreus.
character art, a lush and moving soundtrack and soundscape, It's the work of hundreds of very dedicated artists, and they all have their own stories to tell.
Every time they fucking even show.
They all have their own stories to tell.
Every time they even just show these two, bro, fighting on the ice, it looks like we're maybe fighting in Midgard. Oops. Okay, that was not what I thought it was. That new runic system. Hey, man, it can't get here. It can't get here fast enough. It really can't. That is just seeing the growth of Atreus and how he is older now. And to know that it probably has been a maximum of 3 years since the end of the first game, potentially, because we do go through Fimbulwinter. So unless we go through that whole progression of them going back to the cabin and going through Fimbulwinter from the end of God of War into Ragnarok, I do think it should have been a trilogy. I 100% love trilogy arcs. I think a trilogy would have been the right move. But when you have the trilogy, what do you do then? Do you go through some of the other pantheon characters of in Nordic history? Do you go through some of the other gods? Do you bring in some of the more obsolete ones? Do you hold off? Do you make Thor the main boss of God of War Ragnarok, and then Odin for the third game? Should Ragnarok have been the third title? But doing it in 2 games means, like they said, it's going to be more epic. So we have Tyr and Thor and Odin and Freya and any of these other characters that they want to bring in. We still have the Ragnarok is Thor versus the World Serpent, who I can never say its actual name properly. Atreus plays a big factor into all of that because of who he is. Very interesting to see how these things play out. And I actually love this shot because they do a really good job of keeping Mimir. Like Mimir's just creeping out behind the cloak. And I actually love the cloak on Kratos himself. And seeing him as a grown father and seeing him as, going through his emotions and kind of more mild-mannered, but still having that rage within him. We'll see if Atreus's rage comes back, if he experiences his own Spartan rage or his own sort of mischief abilities. I imagine we may get moments where we'll play as just Atreus. I have feelings we're going to get moments where we play, obviously, as Kratos. I don't know if the God of War series has ever deferred from not playing as Kratos, but I have a good idea for how the game should start. And I hope at one point or another we do get to wield Mjolnir. So this shaping the story and getting some extra scenes in here we may go back through and rewatch is absolutely fucking incredible. Incredible. I cannot wait for Ragnarok. I've said it once, I'll say it 1,000 times. God of War 2018, God of War 4, whatever you want to refer to it as, is my all-time favorite story-driven game. Halo 3 is my all-time favorite game. It has a perfect story. It has a perfect multiplayer. But this game, Ragnarok, is a game that I've played numerous times, and it doesn't get old. So I hope we get some sick-ass abilities. Hope we get a bunch of sick things along the way. I'm recording this on October 20th. October 19th, technically. I haven't went to bed yet, so it's 2 a.m. on October 20th. This game comes out, it is right around the corner, bro. Looking at, what is that, like 2 weeks? 3 weeks? 1, 2, 3 weeks away. Less than 3 weeks away. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. All right. I'm going to wrap up this video. Let me know your thoughts and opinions as always. I'll have links and everything in the description box down below. A playlist up on screen. As always, check back for gameplays, commentaries, news, and updates. Later, nerds.